What is up, football fans, Bills fans, whoever's watching my channel? It's been a few weeks since I posted on here, and I do apologize for that. I've been doing a lot more work with my Built-in Buffalo guys, but I do still intend on doing some videos over here, too. I don't want to, bring you guys on and then, lead you astray. So, in the NFL, there's been a lot of, crazy moves going on, crazy news going on. There's the Deshaun Watson story and how that's affecting the Carolina Panthers and why they went out to go trade for Sam Darnold. There's so much going on, and it's hard to keep up with all of it, to be honest. The fact is, Deshaun Watson is in limbo because of accusations against him, and every man, woman has their day in court and is innocent until proven guilty. It doesn't look great, but you know what? Until he's proven guilty, man's innocent. And that's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't want to put any opinionated spins on anything. I really don't have much of an opinion on it, other than he'll have his day in court, and or maybe he'll settle. We'll see. But yesterday, the Carolina Panthers made the move, and by sending a 6th-round pick in 2021 this year, and a 2nd and a 4th next year, 2022, for New York Jets estranged quarterback Sam Darnold. Now, Sam Darnold, well, he hasn't had the best of careers. However, he also hasn't had the best offensive line, the best weapons, the best coaching, the best organization. He's been on the New York Jets, which has really been a dumpster fire. The New York Jets have 4 division titles in 50 years. There's not really much to brag about when being the New York Jets. However, the New York Jets have a bevy of picks in the next few years. They have 2 first-round picks this year. They have 2 second-round picks this year. They have 2 third-round picks this year, if I'm correct. They have a first, 2 seconds, and 2 thirds next year, or it's 2 firsts. They've got like 2 picks in the first 3 rounds of the next 2 drafts, and then like 2 of the first 3 rounds in 2023. The New York Jets have the ammo to make moves. However, the New York Jets are also one of the worst drafting teams in the NFL. Case in point, of their last 10 draft picks, I think 3 are still in the NFL, and mostly journeymen. They just don't draft well. And none of them are on the Jets anymore. None of the last 10 picks that they took number 1 overall. Not on the team anymore. So, they don't have a history of drafting good, but that's not Joe Douglas. That's McCagnon, Tannenbaum. You get the idea, right? So maybe this guy is their GM of the future. We'll see. Because if he drafts like crap, he'll be out the door too. The Jets are not scared to fire anybody, which is fine. But you maintain no how do I say this? You maintain no cohesiveness by constantly changing coordinators, constantly changing coaches, constantly changing GMs, team presidents. You lose continuity. And while that may sound not so important, it's very important. It's very, 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 very important to have some sort of continuity. Because without that continuity, your team is always constantly in flux. You may be good one year and then trash the next, which is kind of what the Jets have done. They went to 2 AFC Championship games, and then they were garbage after that. And it's a shame because, they're the New York Jets. They finally had a taste of what it was like to be close to the top, and then cut. Granted, their head coach, Rex Ryan at the time, is not really a head coaching material. As a Bills fan, I can tell you that firsthand. But he seems like a good guy. I wouldn't put it past him to be a good person. Now, let's go ahead and talk about Sam Darnold. This situation that he's been in is the New York Jets. We just talked about how crazy that organization is. It's knuckin' futs, all right? I'm not gonna lie. I hate the Jets. I'm a Bills fan. I'm supposed to hate the Jets. But if I'm being totally honest, even when they drafted Darnold, I felt that if the Bills drafted Darnold and they took Allen, they would have been better off with Allen because Allen can run for his life, and early on in his career, that's what he did. So you could have waited, just like the Bills did, test around him with talent, and he would have gone out of his way, just like he does in Buffalo, finding his own quarterbacks coach and learning in the offseason, putting in the extra work, just like Sam Darnold. But Sam Darnold doesn't have the same physical tools. 12, 14. Sam Darnold does not have the same physical tools as Josh Allen. I'm doing some inventory stuff here while I work, which is why I'm not driving right now. But I might still be on the road after this. So, with a decent supporting cast his first year, the Jets went, I think, 4-12. But the offense looked pretty good. They looked solid. Now, once they took away Robbie Anderson and, Adam Gase took over and picked up Le'Veon Bell, and it just fell apart, right? Le'Veon Bell was past his prime. And, Robbie Anderson was his best receiver. They had chemistry. It's very difficult for a quarterback to deal with you taking his number one wide receiver away, then drafting Denzel Mims, and then nothing else. He got nothing else. He had no support in New York. Now, he's going to Carolina. He gets Robbie Anderson back. They got DJ Moore. They got Christian McCaffrey. They'll probably draft a tight end. If Pitts is there, at 8 or 9, I think they pick. If Pitts is there, he's a Panther. Easily. You surround Sam Darnold with the talent that he needs to succeed, and I believe he will succeed. I think if he went to Buffalo, he would have struggled year one. We had no line. We had no weapons. It was Zay Jones, Robert Foster, Kelvin Benjamin, Andre Holmes. I don't remember who our tight end was. Charles Clay. And well past his prime was Sean McCoy. That's what we had. Now, we also brought in Chris Ivory, which gave Josh a decent receiving threat at running back. But, we only held on to him for a year. Then year two, you bring in John Brown, Cole Beasley, and Josh Allen's able to take advantage of those guys. I think that as a passer, Sam Darnold was ahead of Josh Allen at that point in time. In 2019, as a pure passer, Sam Darnold in the Bills scheme would have been better than Josh Allen because Josh Allen had not refined his passing skills yet. Now, at this point in time, I would say Josh Allen is the better passer than Darnold because now he has refined his throwing motion. He's got his mechanics down. He's more accurate, which is one thing people say you can't fix his accuracy. Well, you're wrong. Thank you. Josh Allen has surpassed Darnold. But if you go back to 2019, if you have Darnold and Allen at that point in time, before Josh Allen's, whatever you want to call it, before his takeoff, Darnold probably would have been better with Beasley, Brown, Zay Jones, and whoever else was here than Josh Allen was. Sam Darnold has not been supported by the organization that drafted him. Hopefully for him, they didn't ruin the kid. All right? I don't want to see anybody's career get ruined or see him get injured. I might want to see the Dolphins lose and see Tua Tagovailoa never get a Super Bowl ring. I would love that to be the case because screw the Dolphins. I would love for, the Patriots to fizzle out. I love that, but I don't want to see anybody's career get ended by injuries or by organizations that suck at managing their football teams and at selecting talent to support players, right? I want to see teams support their players, even if I hate that team. Like, if the Patriots did it the best, for the longest time. Brady wanted Moss, he got Moss. It didn't work out for them in the Super Bowl, but still, when he needed something, he gave in to them and they gave in to him. I don't see a scenario where the Jets were prepared to support Sam Darnold. They just weren't. And this coaching staff gave up on him before they even gave him a shot. And that's on them, I think the Panthers have a better organization, better GM, I can't say better head coach right now because Matt Rule's had 1 year, and Robert Saleh is a good coach. I don't know how he's going to do as a head coach, but I know as a defensive coordinator, it's very good. But so as of right now, I'm going to say a better coach, just based on what he did this past year. I think that they're a better organization. Allergy season is wrecking my stuff. Tell you what. But watch out for Sam Darnold in Carolina. Watch out for Sam Darnold. I think that he's going to do a lot better. Look at Ryan Tannehill when he left Adam Gase, and the chasm that Adam Gase left in Miami. I loved it because it was the Dolphins. But if you're looking at it from a honest point of view, and you're just a fan of football, and you're just saying, you know what, I'm going to put my hate away, and just look at what he did to the Dolphins, he left a chasm there. He imploded that team in on itself. And Flores was just the guy to come out there and, pick up the pieces. Whatever he could salvage, he salvaged. And whatever he couldn't, he got rid of. The Dolphins are, they're probably the biggest threat to the Bills in the division right now. And a lot of people say the Patriots, they still got Belichick. I'll drop some factual information on that once I blow my nose. Yeah, it's a big old nose. The Patriots with Bill Belichick have not been to the playoffs without Tom Brady. When Bill Belichick first took over, and it was Bledsoe, 0 playoff appearances. When Tom Brady went down with injury, Matt Castle took over, 0 playoff appearances. This past year, Cam Newton is the starting quarterback. Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay, wins the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay. Patriots miss the playoffs and get swept by the Bills for the first time in over 20 years. Needless to say, it didn't go well. So, what do I draw from this? I don't want to say that the Patriots will never be good again without Tom Brady because that's not realistic. But I think that Bill Belichick's time is numbered. His days are numbered. His time is limited. If he doesn't, take them to the playoffs this year, the following year, he may be fired. Believe that. Greatest coach of all time. I don't know. That Brady guy seems to have had a lot to do with it. That's all I'm going to say about that. Now, if I go to Miami, right? They're the only team in the division that really worries me when it comes to, a threat. And the Bills pummeled Miami 56-26, last game of the season. And that's about as scary as it gets. Not scared. But, this is a big but, they are loaded in this draft. They have draft picks galore. The Miami Dolphins, they have the firepower to go ahead and get some guys. They have the firepower to go get a Jamar Chase, a Kyle Pitts, Waddle. They have the firepower to get, Devontae Smith. They have the firepower to go get Penei Sewell, maybe. I mean, hell, they could draft another quarterback if they really want it. If they don't believe in Tua, because I don't. If I go back to that Wonderlic test that I keep telling people about, 516 Lions. He scored a 13 on that, same as Lamar Jackson, which is why I don't believe in him long term. They may have some success here and there, but, I just don't see it. I just don't see it. I don't see them being quarterbacks of the future. Now, what does this mean for the Bills? Well, that means that the Dolphins are going to have to find another quarterback eventually. Right? That means that the Patriots have to find a quarterback. That means that the Jets are drafting Zach Wilson, but they don't have any weapons or, tools on that team right now. They may be jettisoning C.J. Mosley. You know, it's tough to really gauge all the teams in the AFC East outside of the Buffalo Bills. And I'm glad for that because I'm a Bills fan. But if you look outside and you just... Sam Darnold traded to the Panthers. I mean, the Jets could have took Sewell, number 2 overall. They could have took Barrett Tucker, number 2 overall. Or they could have traded back and got Barrett Tucker. They could have drafted J.O.K. They had options. They had so many options. And they spurned those options. They chose to, you know, not use them to their advantage, in my opinion. Because what you're doing is you're bringing Zach Wilson into a situation where the team isn't ready yet. Right? With the team not being ready yet, he's going to struggle year one. The tape's not going to be good year one. They did bring in some weapons. They brought in Curtis Samuel from the Jets, but he's a slot receiver and a kick returner. He's not going to be your wide receiver 1. Or was it Curtis Samuel? No, I think it was Corey Davis from Tennessee Titans. He's a number 2 receiver, in my opinion. He's not a receiver 1. In Tennessee, that was A.J. Brown. I don't know, guys. You guys tell me what you think in the comments. I'm happy with how the Bills offseason went. They pretty much just stacked depth players, kept their own, moved around some cap space. And, you know, they might be happy right now with what they got. They may go after a Richard Sherman or something like that if they don't draft a corner. Or they may, you know, go after a defensive tackle if they don't draft one of those, or a guard. You know, maybe they're happy with the offensive line as it is. Maybe they see a schematical problem. Maybe they see the fact that the guards, you know, tackles, where the tackles in the center were, you know, in place most of the year. Mitch Morse did miss a little time, but when it boils down to it, you know, the interior was a jumbled mess. I've said it before. So finally, maybe now that you can get these guys in there, hopefully no injuries, and you can get them to gel as a unit instead of mixing, matching, and cutting players and combining players, maybe this line will be what it needs to be. There's a lot that goes into it, but, you know, we'll see. But as of right now, the Buffalo Bills were a Super Bowl contender in 2020, and I believe that they will win the Super Bowl in 2021. I believe that, truly. Anyways, I am Ismael Monero of Built in Buffalo. This is my personal channel where I just kind of go off and rant. Sometimes I'll pick a subject, and sometimes I'll say whatever I want. This is one of those whatever I want days. You guys take care.